got Eddie Speed, the Note King, on today. He is the owner of Note School, and he talks about if you're feeling like a burnt out landlord, or if you're like looking for a different way to be in real estate other than just having tenants and toilets, like this is a great way for you. I think this is a very timely episode, so please listen, enjoy, and take something away from here and learning from someone who has done over 50,000 notes and been teaching this for over 25 years and is still actively buying 750 to 1,000 notes a year. Listen to Eddie Speed and gain that knowledge and take action. Welcome back to the Profit First REI podcast. We have Eddie Speed back on here today, a good friend of mine. Excited to have him on, and he is the Note King. Like, he's gone out there and made himself a name in that industry for years and years now, and he's going to give us good information on that. And Eddie, thanks for being on the podcast again.
I'm so glad to be here. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing well, doing very well. And I want to ask you now, how are you doing? Because, when we're recording this, elections are still like a month away, and like we've got crazy stuff going on. So I just want to get an update on you and how the business is going and everything. And then we can dive into some of the questions that'll help the listeners here.
Well, David, our business is up. Quite honestly, most real estate training business is not up because people are training, people how to flip houses.
Yeah.
And somebody that's somewhat aware knows that there's an issue in that. Rent houses are not good. You're the math man. I may be the Note King, but you're the math man. Most people who show up at Note School today are people that are frustrated with their rentals because they're not making any cash flow, and they're very nervous. Either what they hear about syndications or what they're experiencing in syndications, right?
Okay.
So we had a over-promoted business, seemingly.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden the effects of that are kind of all over the place. It's arguable. Most people that are investing in syndications know there's an issue, right?
Yeah.
And so that's who shows up at Note School. They're saying, look, can I do something that takes a lot less time, but has a lot better reward than my rental property investing? And usually I say, absolutely.
That's awesome. So do you want to give the actionable steps there, the actual insights of note investing versus traditional real estate investing, just so people don't know, or this is the first time they're getting an introduction to you? We'll have to give the
So I teach people how to buy real estate secured mortgages, first mortgages. And so you're the bank, you're receiving payments every month, principal and interest, secured by a piece of property. So the people say, well, is that easier than dealing in rentals? And the answer is, I've kind of had a saying, and I've said it to a lot of really seasoned investors, many of which are mutual friends of yours and ours, and nobody ever corrects me. This is inaccurate. I can own 1,000 notes or 55 rentals. So there's a lot less aggravation involved in owning a note. And right now I can get a lot higher reward than I can in rentals.
Reward as in cash flow or your percentage,
Yeah. So let's just do some simple math.
Yeah.
Okay. I have $250,000. Okay. I like real estate. I can go to my town, Dallas, Texas. $250,000 buys me a house that will rent for $1,800 a month. 900 of that, 50%, is going to go out in expenses. It may not go out at the end of every month, but it will, and you and I know that. Mm-hmm. So for a $250,000 investment, I'm going to net $900. $250,000 investment in notes today is averaging a monthly cash flow of $2,700 a month in note payments.
Oh, wow.
Okay, that may be two notes. Maybe it's not one, maybe it's two. Okay, I figure $65 towards a loan servicer. That nets me $2,635. So I got 900 or 2,635. That is real math that we run literally every day for folks on real examples of real deals. And people say, wow. And all the arguments that go along with rental properties, right? Well, I'm gonna get appreciation, and I'm gonna get this, and I'm gonna get that, and I'm like, you are getting appreciation. You're just getting it now. You're not having to wait.
That's really good. You're able to cash in today where a lot of people are waiting for the someday.
I have had more students.
Yeah.
In the past 18 months that have converted their rentals to seller financing than I've ever seen. And I started doing this in 1980, right?
Yeah.
I've had more students in the last 18 months convert their rentals to seller financing. And I mean, and I think you know this, David, like people that are like operators, like not little guys with 3 houses necessarily. I've had that too, but I mean guys with 250 houses that have converted their whole portfolio to seller financing. And they kind of got down the road with me on this, and they started realizing, and I've said this to you before, David, there are rental cycles and there are note cycles. And the only thing that I think we have to remember, no market is going to be absolutely the same for 10 straight years.
Right.
There's going to be a disruptive time. There's going to be this. There's going to be that. I'm not saying that's never happened in notes. Of course it has. But I'm saying to you, we're in a note cycle. And as long as we have inflation that has impacted the income of rentals, which is about 60% increase in expenses,
right,
compared to about 20% increase in rents, right? Well, that's not good math.
No.
And so for that reason, it's the and on the same $250,000 house, people's mortgage payment will be excessively more than their gross rent payment. And gross rent means if you're the landlord, you're netting half of that.
Right. Yeah.
So all of a sudden, easily the number are 2.5, 3 times net income of rent versus owning a note. 2.5 to 3 times more income from notes. And so, yeah, it's easy to be the note king when things are like this, right?
Right. Yeah.
And I've been doing it a long time and I've seen it, but you know, you and I've discussed this. I could see this cycle coming. Experience does matter when you're trying to read a market. So we weren't shocked when we got here. Now all of a sudden you've got Bigger Pockets and John Burns and all these people essentially saying the same thing that I'm saying. But we knew it before they wrote it. And I'm not disrespecting them or their knowledge or their vision. I'm just saying this is what we've done for a long time. And we're in the middle of these deals and we see what the results are.
How have you stayed in notes so long when there are different time periods like rental time periods and note time periods, but you've stuck with notes, I feel like, the entire time?
Well, I have, but once again, I've used real estate and creative finance in certain cycles. Mm-hmm. And right now, you couldn't pour a rental on me right now. Right? For the reasons that I just said.
Yep.
And there's kind of a funny saying. You may have heard this. Real estate investor says, I want to be a note guy when I grow up. I didn't make up the saying. It's been said back to me many times. And, look at what most hard money lenders' background is. What were they before they were a hard money lender?
Usually a real estate investor, landlord.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I like my business better because my notes get better in 6 months. If you're a hard money lender, you get paid off in 6 months, and now you got to go find the next perfect deal.
Right.
My deal lasts for a long time. So once I make a good decision and find a good note, I just put it to bed.
Yeah.
So, I like that better.
Yeah. No, that's good. So you say when you find a good note, what makes a good note to you?
Here's definitely the pattern. Good properties attract good buyers, which create good notes. Good properties to good buyers equals sticky payments. You cannot sell a crappy piece of property to somebody and expect to have a good note.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, believe me, there's lots of them that tried, right? And the land gurus haven't necessarily helped us in that regard in this industry, right?
Right.
Because not all land that they're dealing in is really useful, valuable land, right?
Yeah.
But I start out with good properties and land and houses, and I've bought tens of thousands of notes on both. And then that lets me attract a good buyer. And when I sell them that property, David, or whoever I've kind of helped configure and make a note to sell them that land, that property, their dreams are going to become true on that property, whether they have their family there, whether it's their weekend place, as land, whatever that may be. There's a value to that land. And then I can attract people with a good track record and the ability to pay a loan back. Right. So, I have helped a lot of real estate investors manufacture notes, right? The formula of how to make good notes, right? And then from there, now all of a sudden, once they've kind of followed, an underwriting box, then all of a sudden they can bring that note to someone like me, and I can buy the note and buy it at a way lesser discount than a loan that they may have tried to configure on their own without any guidance, right?
Yeah.
Kind of like your book, right? It's kind of a formula, right?
Yeah, it's a formula. I do like to say. Yeah.
And so that's how I find inventory. That's how I find the notes. Then I go help somebody that doesn't want to be in that grind every day. And then I say, I can help you find notes because I've built a marketplace of people manufacturing notes to my specifications. That's kind of my ultimate desire.
Yeah. So that's how you get a beginner into it. It's you've built a marketplace and you're teaching them the first steps, especially if they have a portfolio already. Because like you said, it doesn't matter. You've got 3 deals. If you've got 250 houses in your portfolio, it's like you can start taking those first steps, and you've built a community even, to help people on that route and to help with the whole process.
Note School, I've kind of figured out Note School is a home for burnout landlords.
Huh. They come to you and they're able to convert a lot of their rentals into the notes.
Or they've had rentals and they have some cash and they're saying, I don't want to go do that again. And so they're investing in notes because it's a lot less aggravation. They have a lot better cash flow. And oh, by the way, investing in notes has a cushion that rental properties don't have.
Yeah.
You say a cushion. Yeah. So if you invested that $250,000 in a rent house, the rent house is worth $250,000 and you invested $250,000.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a cushion.
No.
You're straight on the concrete, right?
Right. Yeah.
Okay. But when I invest $250,000 in notes, my collateral is worth far more than $250,000 what I paid for the notes.
Yeah.
So I have a baked in cushion that maybe the collateral's worth $350, right? I have a cushion on top of what I paid for the notes. God forbid something goes wrong, then I'm not likely to go lose my principal. So aggravation, of rentals, not good cash flow on rentals, and no cushion of rentals compared to what I like, which are better cash flow, way less work. And by the way, catastrophically, there's cushion.
Yeah. And then you've created that marketplace where you can also bring people that are looking to sell the notes too. So if you've got a burnt out landlord, then they've got that cash then, because I feel like that would be one of the biggest questions is, where do I find these people, or where do I, find a good note?
Yeah, we know in having the skill. Look, we've had a school for 25 years. We know what people want. They want us to tell them what we've learned, a compression of time. They want us to give them a risk management blueprint. Like what decisions do I make that's the most likely chance not to cause a problem? They want their time back. And then they're like, oh, Eddie, what if you helped us find notes? What if you helped us evaluate notes? Like, that's what people want. And that's what we've morphed into. We didn't always have that. I thought forever, if I'd been doing something for 20 or 30 years, surely if I just told you what I knew in a condensed version of explained it to you, you'd say, that's great, and go run off and go do it. But let's be honest about it. That's not what most people want. And you'd be shocked, David, at some people that you and I mutually know that have come into our cycle, and it's not that they're not experienced. They're crazy experienced.
Yeah.
They just want their time back.
So then this helps them get their time back.
That's what people want.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, where's the sunset in the landlord?
Right. That never ends.
Well, I mean, you've been around it as much as I have in that regard. You and I know all these hotshot folks, and so when the market was going up in 2020 and 21, quite honestly, people would just put up with anything because their real estate was going up so much in value.
Yeah.
Now our market's flat, essentially, and they're not going up, and they're not cash flowing, and the tenants didn't stop calling them because they weren't making, the landlord wasn't making any money. So those are the reasons that, what becomes the best thing to do in the market changes, probably.
Right. No, and I like that you've built this community, and especially how you've identified, it's usually the burnout landlords that we're working with, because they've got either the problems or the market dips, and they're looking for a different place to either put their money or to convert their portfolio or do things like that. So it sounds like you've really honed in on who you're able to help and really help, and help them in their investing journey. And like you said, grow up in their investing journey. Go from real estate investor, when I grow up, I want to be a note investor and a note holder. So I like that you've kind of helped them on their journey, and you know exactly what they're going through. And you've been doing this a long time, 25 years at note school and helping people. Like you said, you know exactly what's going on not just both sides, but like a 21-sided dice. Like you've seen everything.
David, we train all the time.
Yeah.
Live, virtual, all kind of stuff, right? The people that are on here today, if they want to come to a master class, which we do charge for master classes, but we're going to give them a ticket to a master class, and we'll talk about that at the end. But
yeah,
we'll give them a ticket to the master class, and then on there, guess what we're going to ask them? We're going to ask them some questions.
Yeah.
In the master class, to give us a sense of what life looks like for them. We're not just sitting in the ivory towers thinking about how life affects us. We want to know how life affects them. That's how we figured this stuff out. If you have a class, or if you're working with people trying to help them, David, you got to ask them all the time, what's your world look like?
Right.
That's how we figured out. We know what the market is. We know what notes can do, but we needed to know what was, because let's be honest about it. When do people change?
When the pain is greater of not changing, exactly. So
that's it.
Yeah. Well, that's good. And I like how you do that. You set them up for success for themselves and not the ivory tower. And just here, let's force feed you, everything I know. It's more of like collaborative. Where are you now, and what's going on, and how can this help you get to where you want to go?
That's so.
Yeah. No, I like that a lot. What else about notes did I not ask you that we should know about before we go into the masterclass, and how people can, take those next steps of learning this, especially in this market? I feel like anyone who's on this podcast would probably be a great candidate, if you're listening to this, to at least get into Eddie Speed's world and know about notes and go to a masterclass and figure this out. So you've got a great tool in your tool belt that could maybe overshadow every other tool you've got. But first, what have I not asked you, or what would you like to get across that I haven't asked?
What we're really good at a second level is showing people how to use leveraging techniques with mortgages so that when you run out of money, and you will, when you run out of money, how do you go stretch your dollar out? How do you go be able to continue to buy when you are going to do some leveraging techniques? And so we've gotten really good at that. It's something that we've practiced a lot, and we show people techniques with pretty amazing leveraging strategies with what that build wealth, and it can also build cash flow. And so, the thing is, that's also because that's what's going through their head. Well, I mean, if Eddie's going to teach me how to buy $100,000 mortgages, I'm going to run out of money. And the answer is, yep, you likely are. But we've already figured that out too. I bought 50,000 notes, right?
Right.
This what I figured out buying 50,000 owner finance notes.
What have you figured out?
Everybody runs out of money.
That's a good one.
So
then you help them with that.
So then what are the best strategies once you run out of money to not just go give up my future? Like, I mean, okay, I created cash flow with notes, and now I'm just going to go sell it at a discount, right? Well, is there another way to do it that you don't get clobbered? And the answer is there are some of those techniques. And the reason I bought 50,000 notes is I became really good at helping real estate investors with those type things. Right? That's why I created an environment where people would come back to us over and over, because we became good at financial modeling, showing them how to go recapitalize their portfolio without getting clobbered.
Okay. No, I love that. Because you've thought of all the different things they're going to run into, and here's how you combat this, or here's the workaround, or here's the next step, to get to where you want to be. That's why if you're listening to this, someone like Eddie is someone you need to follow, because he's not only teaching this, but he's got the experience of 50,000 notes, teaching for, several decades here. It's like, that's where the real education comes in, from someone who's been in the trenches, who is actually doing this. And you still do this. This isn't like you've stopped doing this and now you just teach it full time. You're still buying notes, and you're still out there in the game yourself, correct?
We have a very active note buying business. If you're creating notes, then we would love to connect with you and see if we can work with you and buy your notes. So our goal is to buy, 750 to 1,000 notes, this year. And, so we're very active in the business. We're not, what do they call me? A guru?
A guru versus a guru. Right? Yeah. You're actually doing the thing, not just teaching the thing. So, no, I love that. That's really good. So then talk about the masterclass. How can someone get signed up if they want to at least learn and understand? If they're a burnt out landlord, how do they get in there so they can understand what the next steps are?
So yeah, I want to give them, I'm going to give them a special lane to go down, so that your audience can just join the masterclass with us. I'm going to give it to them.
Oh, wow.
noteschool.com/profit first. Right.
Yep.
So that's the uniqueness, and it's going to take you to a landing page, and you're going to register. And, for that, and it's about 2 hours. And, I teach it along with the guy that runs my marketing, who you know very well, Max.
Yep.
And he is a very inquisitive soul, and he has really, really helped us develop training that answers the pain that our customers feel.
Yeah.
He has a real heart for that, really good guy. And so it's fun teaching it with him, because yes, I'm a note guy and whatever and stuff, but he knows, like, he has a real connection with the emotional side, like how they're feeling.
Yeah.
Like, and there's some spooky stuff out there, man.
Yeah.
We're kind of in a spooky time.
Yeah. 100%.
And so I think it's really good. It's about 2 hours. It is like really informative masterclass. Like it's very packed for 2 hours. Like I'm not sure we could literally pack much more into it.
Nice.
Yeah.
And so there they learn the foundation of notes. They learn, how to get into this and next steps from there.
We show them examples of different things. We show them the financial modeling and notes.
Yeah.
We apply it to different areas in the business. And then we really talk about, because what we want to do, help somebody figure out is, are notes a fit for you?
Yeah.
Right. And if they're not a fit for you, it's not good for us to go try to train you into doing something that's not suitable for you.
Right.
And then, but we talk about, if it is a good fit for you, like, how would you do it? And would you give up all your real estate investing business? Which is no. Right. Or
right.
Do you not want to do real estate investing? Do you not want to grind as much? You want a more passive thing? So it lets us kind of catch different people in different life situations. It's not just one door to go through, so to speak.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's really good. And that was noteschool.com/profit first.
That's it.
If you want to go there, you can get into that masterclass and see what it's all about, see if it's for you, especially if you're a burned out landlord. If that resonates with you, go there and at least see if he can help you get you to that next level and become a note investor, and learning about that from the master himself. And Max, I highly recommend Max too. I know Max very well personally, and he's a good human being, just like you said. So highly endorse both those guys teaching you about that. Now, Eddie, as a last question, what's just best advice that you give a real estate investor, someone listening to this, that you'd want to get out there in this, this time?
David, when I answer this, I did not know you were going to ask me this question. When I answer this every time I'm asked. And that has nothing to do with the guy that's a fractional CFO. Like, nothing. The biggest stress to my business and the biggest loss to my business has been poor accounting. And I am a gigantic fan, as you well know, of what you do today, because I now feel like I'm squared away with my numbers. And I think most real estate investors start out not squared away, and note guys included. And then all of a sudden we get a bunch of accounting stuff that messes us up, and we can finally dig our way through it. But man, get your accounting straight. There's nothing more important than that as you start making money.
Well, there we go. I definitely endorse that message. So that was good stuff. Get your numbers in order. You don't know your business if you don't know your numbers. So I really like that. It's good stuff. Eddie, this has been awesome. Thank you for sharing your wisdom. And if you're listening to this, number one, go to noteschool.com/profit first to see if, go to Note School, go and learn from the master, and then see if that's right for you. I think for a lot of you, if you're in this turbulent time, it is right for you. We're in the note period, not the rental period. So really like that. Number two, if you resonate with what Eddie just said about what the heck are my numbers doing, I have no idea what's going on my finances, the accounting, it's all messed up, we can help you with that at simplecfo.com. We'd love to help you get all that squared away and have you just going out there and buying the deals and buying the notes. And we'd love to make sure that you're actually making money on the back end and then keeping it as well too. Eddie, thank you again for sharing your wisdom, your knowledge, and for coming on and being a great guest.
Great to see you.
This episode of the Profit First for REI podcast is over, but there are plenty more where that came from. Are you ready to learn how David and his team can help implement the Profit First system in your business? Schedule a discovery call at simplecfo.com right now. We'll see you next time on the Profit First for REI podcast with David Richter.